What's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC. Today we're taking a look at box number 10 in the MedicBox Pro Subscription. The standard MedicBox subscription costs $55 a month plus shipping, and for that they're sending you themed first aid gear meant to help you build out specialized kits in 3-month blocks. So for example, box number 10 is the first box in phase 4, which is building a home first aid kit. So every item in this month's box will be along that same theme. The Pro version of the MedicBox subscription costs $100 a month plus shipping. That gets you everything that comes in the standard plus 1 to 2 additional items along the same theme that are going to supplement that kit even further. As always, I'll make sure to leave a link to MedicBox down in the description of the video if you're interested in learning more about this subscription. And I also have a playlist dedicated to MedicBox that I recommend checking out if you're considering subscribing, because unlike most subscriptions where you just jump in whatever month you sign up, with MedicBox, no matter when you sign up, you'll always start with box number 1 so you don't miss anything. And each month that you're subscribed, you'll receive the next box in the sequence. So you're not going to receive box number 10 until the 10th month. So if you're just getting started and don't want spoilers, I recommend jumping back to the beginning of that playlist. Every 3 months, I do a summary video summarizing the kit that we built over the previous 3 months. So you can also check that out if you want just a quicker rundown of what came in some of those previous boxes. With that said, let's see what they sent over for box number 10. And we'll pluck the content list from the top and then move the rest of this box off to the side to make a little bit of room. And so starting with our intro, welcome to the home first aid phase. During this phase, you'll build a home first aid kit with everything needed to take on minor to severe medical situations in your home or yard. You'll also receive wound treatment and diagnostic gear. Excuse me. In the center segment, we have a list of the contents of the standard box. The pro items are all going to be on the back, as well as the information on the C2MS Academy, and we'll reference those when we get to that segment of the video. But bringing our attention down to the bottom segment, this is where we're at in the journey. So again, box 10 is the first box in phase 4, which is that home first aid kit, goes through box 12. We don't know what happens after box 12 yet. I'm assuming there's a box 13, but this is a relatively new subscription, so I don't think anyone's made it that far to see what happens at the end of the year. So excited to see that in a couple months. But for next month, we have coming up, continuing building our first aid kit, our home first aid kit, supplies and tools to treat minor injuries, perform diagnostics, and treat wounds. So we'll set this off to the side. We are going to be going in the same order as the content list, so we'll be referencing that once again as we go through. Up first, we get the first aid pouch. So just like the start of each of the previous phases, we start with a pouch to contain the standard items. Now, these don't necessarily fit every single item that comes. There's some items that have their own carry method or own storage method, and so those won't necessarily go in here. And usually the pro items aren't accounted for either. These pouches are made specifically for these kits, and so they're very specialized. You can buy them on the website. I noticed recently that they sell all of these items on the website actually. Obviously, if you end up buying each item individually, you're going to pay more than what you would pay through the subscription, so you do get a nice discount by being subscribed. But if you just want one of the items that stands alone, you can definitely pick that up as well. So this one, again, unbranded, not sure who makes them for them, but they're always been really good quality. It's a Cordura, bright red Cordura, so it's easily identifiable as a first aid kit. And this time they did throw one of these Red Cross PVC pouches on, or patches onto the outside of that. So if the red wasn't a dead giveaway that it was a first aid kit, you have that to identify it as well. You also have plenty of real estate for even more patches or organizers that you can put on the outside of this. There's MOLLE webbing, again, so you can attach different pouches to the exterior, as well as this quick release panel that tears away. It's all Velcro mounted, and this has the pre-built-in mounts to mount this onto MOLLE webbing of a bag, but you can remove it without having to fumble with those straps. You just rip it off and it's just Velcro on there. And then we have the clip enclosure as well as this strap that you can put to the Velcro segment of there as well to keep the bag from falling open if you're opening this up while it's mounted to someone's backpack and they're wearing it. And so this is a clamshell style opening, so it would just fall open without those straps. But once you remove them, you can fully clamshell open this. And we'll start with the back panel first. You have these 3 elastic loops, relatively wide, so you can fit these smaller items in the elastic loops. And then you have this Velcro closure that closes off these 2 segments. Each of these are full width and full depth, and so different depths to each of them, but great for those larger flat items. You also have a couple of loops up here if you want to attach like key rings or other small tools to them, and you get one on each side, which is really nice as well. Moving on to the other side of the pouch, we get one of these flip out mesh pockets that we often see on first aid kits specifically. This is see-through, so you can put a bunch of smaller items in there. It's pretty cavernous, you can fit a lot in there, but it's see-through, so you can identify what's inside without having to open that up. And once you do, you have plenty of access to put your whole hand into that segment. Behind that, we have a bunch more elastic loops, 8 in total, but they're stacked in 2. So a lot of times if you have something larger in that back one, you'll have a little bit less access to the front one and vice versa, but you can utilize that to organize however you see fit. And then behind that, one more big, large, open, full width pocket for, again, those small flat items. And so we'll close this up, and they do send or include a recommendation of where to place the various items, and only the standard items once again, but you can see they're numbered to coincide with the content list. And so those are suggestions. Sometimes I follow them, sometimes I don't, but they do a good job of kind of puzzle piecing stuff into the right places. So if you're having a hard time figuring out where something fits, you can reference that illustration. But if you want to just lay it out however you think it makes the most sense, that's obviously doable as well. They're pretty versatile little pouches. And so item number 2 is our finger cut kit. And this is one I'm pretty excited about, and I'm pretty sure I'm not going to put into this kit because I think it would be a great item to just leave where I record these videos. I'm obviously playing with knives all day long, recording knives where I'm not maybe paying as much attention as I should be. And so it's great to have something like this in case I do cut my finger. What's included in here is the T-ring device, which you can see here, as well as cleansing wipes, gauze pads, wound strips, which are like butterfly closures, the bandages and shower shields for a little bit of aftercare. And then there's clear instructions on how to use this. Basically, this is like a tourniquet for your finger. You slide it onto the base of your finger. It's going to cut off the circulation a bit to slow down the flow of blood, so you can clean it, rinse it, and apply those wound strips, and then remove it. Obviously, you don't want to leave that on there for too long, so it says a max of 60 minutes because it is cutting off circulation. If you leave it on there too long, it can do permanent damage. So wouldn't leave that on there once you get the bleeding to stop and have it all bandaged up. But really cool item, and again, one that I think is great for me at this recording table, but also if you have like a workbench where you do your sharpening or store your knives, or just anywhere you're working with knives often, even in the kitchen, I think this would be a great addition to like the junk drawer in the kitchen. And so this would be a great thing to pick up multiple of, but for now, this is going to stay right here on the table. Now, item number 3 is the Slishman wrap. We've gotten one of these before. The previous one came with a pouch, like a travel pouch that you can attach to the outside of your kit. This one doesn't because it's for a home kit, but these are great items. They're pressure wraps, so you can use them for bandaging, but you can also use them as a tourniquet. The inventor of the Slishman wrap has a channel. I don't remember what it's called. I'm sure it has the name Slishman in it. I'll try and link to it in the description, but he does videos on all of the different ways that you can use a Slishman wrap, including how to utilize it as a tourniquet. So great item. You can see it has the Velcro, and all of the bandage will stick to that Velcro because it's all the same kind of grabby material, and so you can put it on as tight as you want and just stick it to the Velcro no matter what length you have turned off, except the very, very end, obviously there with the tag in this red segment, but the rest of it is going to stick to that Velcro. And so really cool item as well. Next we have the Scrape Med pack, and this is from MyMedic. Really have been enjoying the MyMedic stuff we've gotten from this pack. These are pre-built kits, and so you can see the last one we got 10 different kits that were identical, or I guess 10 identical kits of the same thing. This one has a mix of different items: gauze roll, gauze pads, non-adherent pads, antiseptic towelettes, super hand wipe, 3 triple antibiotic ointments, a 1x15 self-adherent bandage roll, pair of gloves, and super wash. And it's resealable, so in the illustration it shows you opening this up and putting each of the separate items, but I kind of like the idea of just having everything in one place as a mini scrape kit. But you can see there's different individual items, including that super wash, all of the different bandages and things like that in there, and fully resealable. So I kind of like that it's nice and packed up already for you. So I'm going to leave mine as is. You can get these obviously on the MedicBox website as well as directly from MyMedic. They sell a bunch of different pre-built kits. Now, last but not least in our standard is the Instant Cold Pack. So everyone knows what these are, great especially for kids, but it's basically you break these and you kind of bend them and break them until those beads break, and then it gets really cold, so you can use it as an ice pack for swelling and burns and pain and sore muscles. And so great item. You see these in a lot of pre-built first aid kits as well, but great to have around, especially again if you have kids. Now that rounds out our standard pack, but we do have the pro items as well. We got 2 pro items this month, and then we'll talk about the CTOMS Academy course as well, which is a separate subscription that they offer that teaches you when and how to use the various gear and just kind of a bunch of different scenarios. So our first premium item this month is a real cool one. It's the pulse oximeter. And so this is a fingertip pulse oximeter. I didn't open this up, but we can kind of open it a little bit to see. You can see just this plastic piece that you put over your finger. There's a digital display that's going to tell you both your pulse and your blood oxygen levels. And so both of those can be important for different scenarios. And I think this is a great item to have around the house, similar to like a thermometer, which I'd be surprised if we don't get like a forehead thermometer or something like that in one of the future boxes. But great item to have around, or if you're going out like adventuring, especially if you're going into high altitudes, it's great to have a pulse oximeter to monitor your oxygen levels. And so that is item number 1 in the Pro. Item number 2 is another really cool one, and this is Know Your Blood Type, an Eldon blood typing kit. And so you can see all the content in here. It has the Eldon card, skin cleansing swab, Eldon sticks, automatic lancet, Eldon foil, plastic dropper, and instructions for use, and you can kind of see that here as well. But this allows you to use that lance. It's a single-use lance, so once you use it, it won't poke you again, which is great. Similar to what you would use if you were testing your blood sugar, but you just lance the tip of your finger. It creates basically a dropper to a blood that you can put onto that paper to find out your blood type, and it tests for both ABO and RHD blood groups. And so this is a really, really cool item, especially if you don't already know that. I do know my blood type, but I'll test it out just to make sure it matches what I think my blood type is. It would be interesting if it didn't, but I think a really cool item for those that don't know, especially since they sent like the card in one of the previous boxes where you can mark your blood type to put on your EDC first aid kit. So for those that didn't know, now that you get this one, you'll be able to find out what that is. So that rounds out our Pro items. I think 2 really, really cool items in the Pro this month. Super excited about both of those actually. And then we have our CTOMS Academy. So as I mentioned, they offer this as a separate subscription to the MedicBox. And so this MedicBox Academy, that they partner with CTOMS Academy to offer new courses each month. This month's course will be on critical thinking and tactical trauma care. The video series delves into defining critical thinking, then discusses professionalism and impedances to professionalism, particularly as a professional tactical medicine practitioner. It covers the process of skill acquisition and adoption of novel concepts, including evidence-based medicine, ending with an exercise to put critical thinking into context. This is a must-do course for anyone serious about becoming a tactical medical professional. And so that rounds out the box for this month. I think a really solid start to our home first aid kit. There's a lot of items that I have in mind that maybe will be coming in box 11 or box 12, or maybe not. Maybe they'll surprise us with other type of items. Didn't expect to see something like the blood typing kit. I think that's really cool. Probably most excited for the Scrape Med Pack and the finger cut kit from our standard, but also really excited to get that fingertip and pulse oximeter. Actually, I already have a couple of these, but you can't have too many. Sometimes the battery's dead on them, or just don't know where you end up putting them. And like I said, it's good if you're going to high altitudes, but it's also just good to have around the house, especially when you're sick. If you're not feeling well, you can kind of keep track of your pulse and that blood oxygen level. Let me know what you think of the start of phase 4 down in the comments, what you think of the contents of this month's box. As usual, if you enjoyed the video, consider liking, commenting, subscribing, checking out some of my other videos. All help the channel out a ton, and I hope you have a great one. Take care.